y'all doing? I'm assuming everybody here is a DJ or interested in being DJs. A lot of Scratch Live users. Anybody made the switch over to Serato DJ yet? No? Alright, well, basically today I'm going to be talking about the 62, the Rane 62, and how it incorporates with Serato DJ. First of all, just a little bit about Serato DJ. I know a lot of people I talked to were kind of hesitant about making a switch, like, well, I really like Scratch Live. Basically, Serato DJ is everything that's in Scratch Live plus more. So if you like Scratch Live, you're still going to get all that and extra stuff. So Scratch Live, you have 5 cue points. Serato DJ, you have 8. You also have 8 loop positions in Serato DJ that can be triggered like cue points. So it's almost like having 16 cue points. So that alone, you know, it's a lot better. In February, all the other Rane hardware, the 61, the 62, the 68, the SL2, 3, and 4, are going to be compatible with Serato DJ. So if anybody has a 62 or any of the other mixers, they're going to be new faceplates or overlays for them. And if anybody wants to come over here and look on the mixer, you can see little arrows by some of the keys that weren't there before. And this is on the 64 as well. What that means, anytime you see one of those arrows, there's a shift button that'll open up other functionality for that button. And the shift button is now labeled shift. It used to be delete. It still deletes your cue points, but now if you hold that down and hit one of these buttons, it opens up a menu on the screen. Feel free to come up here and look, you know, and you can go in and change a lot of different parameters. But one of the things that's different about the 62 that's not really software dependent is they've added a different type of echo. So if I hold down my shift button and hit the echo button up here, you get your screen and there's a duck echo. And basically what that does, as long as there's a signal present, you're not going to hear the echo. But once the signal goes away, then the echo will come in. It's like if you're scratching or playing and you only want the echo to come when you do dropouts, you can get that now. Actually switch over to it, hold on. Turn the party out. So then when I take it out, that's when the echo comes in. So that's and that's built in the mixer. So whether you're using Scratch Live, Serato DJ, regular vinyl, whatever, you're gonna get the new duck echo in the mixer. You also have the mic channel. If you're not using the mic channel, you can set all that in the control MIDI as well. And you'll see again the shift button, there's some arrows up here. If you hit the mic button, that switches it off. So now the whole mic channel is open up to the MIDI control. So let's say I want to assign that to controls for the effects in Serato DJ. If I go to my effects panel, and I go to MIDI, click on the MIDI button in the top corner. I come down and assign this on button to the button here. So now that turns that on and off. Now I can assign the knob to the level depth here. So now I can use my mic to turn that effect on and off, control the depth. So again, turn it on. Turn the party out. Turn the party out. So that's going to be a new feature in how the 62 works with Serato DJ as well. There's also a clean feed. Well, let me show you again on the bypass. When you bypass the mic channel, control MIDI, the on-off button is going to blink to let you know it's in that mode. So you have a visual reference that it's not controlling the mic anymore. If you want to get back to using your mic, which obviously is not working now, hold down your shift button, hit the on button, it goes back. It goes back to being a mic. So that just gives you, for people who don't use the mic a lot, you have your 3 buttons actually. The flex effects button can be assigned as well, and 3 knobs to control whatever you want to set up to control with. There's also a clean feed now. So if I hold down shift and hit clean feed, that takes the mic signal out of the processing chain and goes straight to the main output. So the way you could do that, let's say you're in a club and you're doing a mix, and you're on the mic, you give shout outs, announcing bar specials or whatever, and you want to record your mix, but you don't want all that in there. If you go to clean feed, that's not going to be in the signal chain and be recorded within your Serato DJ recording capabilities or your Scratch Live recording capabilities, so that can bypass that whole thing. So that's what the clean feed is basically for, is to take the mic out of the whole signal processing chain and put it directly to the main outputs. A lot of the differences, like you can also change the EQ of the headphones. So if you hold down the shift button and go into your split cue, now you have a headphone tone control. So if you have like a cheap, crappy pair of headphones and you need some more bass in them, you can come in here and you can adjust the highs or adjust the lows. Like, or if you're in a club where it's just like really loud, tinny speakers and you can't hear it, you can like adjust the frequency so it cuts through a little bit better. So that's another feature that's going to be in the 62 with Serato DJ. And again, you just hold down shift to get out of that. And use the joystick to control most of the parameters. Some of the other differences, the main differences with Serato DJ, you have slip mode and sync now. So for DJs who want to be able to like have your records synced up and not have to beat match them, you can go into sync mode. And again, you're going to hold down shift and you hit the roll or loop out button, and that'll take you into sync mode. But you need to have beat grids edited on all your songs as well. So you can see these little white lines on the waveform. Actually, let me give you a bigger waveform to see. And the way you do that, the way you change how the decks are laid out, you come up here to the top left corner and click on this, and you have vertical, you have horizontal, you have extended, which gives you like a bigger overall waveform. You have stack, which basically stacks them on top of each other. And then you have library. The library just gives you more viewing room with your library. Now, if you're in one of the other modes, like say we go into horizontal, you can get to library mode anytime you want by tapping your space bar. And that'll fold the decks up to the top so you can see more of your tracks. Hit the space bar again and then opens and closes. Now the beat grids, you see these little white markers here. That's gonna be your beat grid. And you can set that, when you analyze your tracks, it'll set the beat grid, but you can go and adjust it by hitting this edit grid button. And when you edit that, you get this little window down here. And you can go in and you can adjust your beat grid. If I want to slip this whole thing, like say the beat grid was on but it needed to be adjusted, you can hold down Alt and shift the whole thing around. So you can move that. You also have the buttons down here to adjust it and slip it. And the buttons on the far outside are going to be adjusted in like much broader increments, and the ones inside adjusted a little bit slower. So you can either slip the whole thing, or you can kind of stretch and adjust the whole thing. Or if you need to set a cue point, not a cue point, but a downbeat on the grip marker, you can always hit set right here, and it'll set that mark right on the nearest transient. But after you adjust everything, you want to hit save. If you don't hit save, it's not going to save. So if you're just playing around and you don't like where it's set, you're going to cancel. And that'll go back out of the beat grid. Now with slip mode, does everybody knows what the loop rolls are, right? So you can loop a section of the track, and it'll loop as long as you hold down the roll. When you release it, it jumps back in the track where it would have been if you wouldn't have press the button anyway. Slip mode is kind of like that, but you can do anything you want. You can scratch, between cue points, you can turn loops on and off, whatever you want. I mean, you stop manipulating the record, it jumps back to where it would have been if you hadn't done it. Scratch. And to get into there, you hold shift and you hit the slip mode button down here, which is also the save in the loop. And you'll see this little icon up here with the virtual deck. That's your slip mode button. That lets you know when you're in slip mode or not. So now that I'm in slip mode.
Take flights, sitting bags mic in my hand. Speed race. In my mind, make my plans and you was in the drop. And staying with 5 minutes. And even though we both fly, give each other some.
Talking at a cue point, then it jumps back to where it would have been before I release it.
Sweeter than Ben and Jerry. Never mind, but you know I kiss
So it's gonna always jump back to where it would have been. So you can do a lot of creative things, and knowing where you mess up, just let it go. It's gonna jump back into the song where it should be. So if you're mixing and you got 2 songs to mix and you start to scratch and you're a little carried away and it gets off, just let up, it's gonna jump right back in. But as long as your mix is tight and you got your beat grid set and sync going, it's gonna be right there. Does anybody have any questions about the sync or the slip mode or anything? To set sync up, if you go into the setup screen, go into your DJ preferences tab. You can see your sync preferences here. And if you don't want to use a sync, if you're one of those DJs like, it's not keeping it real, you know, you have to learn how to beat match, just turn it off. Turn sync off and you never have to use it. If you want to use it, you have an option to turn it on. And then you have snap to beat grid and maintain sync on track load. Those are going to give you a little bit different levels of like how effectively the beat grid works and how much work you have to put into it. And here's a really cool tip with Serato DJ and Scratch Live. If you ever forget what something does, there's this little icon up here. And if you click on that, you can put your mouse over pretty much any feature, and it's going to tell you, it's like a tooltip, so it'll tell you what it does. So if you want to know, if you forget, or like, okay, I want to know what the differences are in the beat grids, turn that on, and it'll tell you what simple sync does, or sync off, obviously, just turn the sync off. Simple sync, and then the beat grids, snap the beat grid, maintain sync on track load, what they do. So that comes in really handy. A lot of people don't really know that's there, don't think to utilize it a lot. You'll be in the middle of a gig and have an issue with a certain function. You can press that and it instantly tells you what's going on. Another cool thing is you can adjust the hardware filter, the filter in the mixers, like the parameters of that. To do that, press the off button. You hold down your shift and press the headphone cue button to the channel that you want to change the filter on. You'll see on the screen you have filter resonance at the bottom. And you can use the time knob to adjust the filter resonance, so you can hear the difference. Now if I turn that up, you're going to get a lot more of that hollow, swooshy kind of sound. I'll turn it back down to have more of a negative resonance. It's a little bit more of a cleaner kind of a filter stream. And you can adjust those separately for the for each channel and for the aux in. So you have a lot more customized options for the effects, for how you MIDI map stuff, like I said, to the mic channel, your headphone tone controls, you got your slip mode, you got your sync. And also, if anybody hasn't used the 62, it does have 2 sound cards, so you can hook up 2 laptops at the same time. And anybody used the 68, trying to figure out how to switch over from one DJ to the other, it was a little kind of a convoluted process. But this one is real easy. If there's another laptop hooked in here, you just turn that down. That's all there is to it. Now that laptop, or the mixer's controlling that laptop. And you can see this deck turn black and it says in use. So that tells me that deck's in use by the other sound card. And if I want to get control over it back, just turn it down again and it jumps back over to my laptop. And since you have one set of cue points here, and you can have 2 laptops set up, the way you choose which laptop is being, these buttons are being controlled is with the SP6, the sign here. So when you're in the sample mode, if you hit the cue sample button here in the middle, that switches between triggering your cue points and triggering your samples. So in cue point mode, obviously triggering my cue points. When I go to samples, so let me open up the SP6 here and show you sample things. Now you have 6 sample positions, and you have 6 green buttons here that are lit up if you have samples in position. And you have 4 banks. The way you change the banks are the outer 2 buttons on each side. So this is bank A. That switches to bank B. And you can see that up here in the top right corner. This one will switch to C and this one switches to D. And everything's labeled on the mixer, so it'll tell you which one does what. So let's switch over to some more traditional samples if I have some loaded up.
Let's get ready to rock. Let's get
so now that's
ready
triggering
to
a sample
rock.
instead of a cue point. If I hit the cue samples button, that switches back over. Now it's controlling my cue points again. There's also different layers of MIDI you can map these to that a lot of people don't realize. So if I want to use these controls to control something else, if I hold down the cue samples button, you can see how like these 2 buttons light up. So that tells me that's in group 1. So if I want to switch to group 2, if I hit 2 over here, now all these controls are in a separate MIDI layer. So I can assign all these to something else. So let's say I want to use this button to control a sensor reverse on the left deck. I go up and hit my MIDI tab here. And if anybody's going to be around on Saturday, I'm going to be doing the whole thing on like a little more advanced MIDI mapping. But basically, for MIDI, you click your MIDI tab in your software, which is up in the top left corner, top right corner rather. You go to the feature you want, so I'm going to click on the sensor button here. Now I'm going to click the button I want to control that. So I want this first button. So now you see that turn blue, that's a sign, so let's turn MIDI off. So now when I play my track, when I hit that button, my sensor kicks in and it temporarily reverses the track. And that's button 1. If I go back to MIDI group 1, that triggers a cue point. If I hit the cue samples button, that changes my sample bank. So again, you can control a lot of different things in this. And also when you switch the MIDI groups, all these knobs and buttons are MIDI assignable as well. So when you look at all the knobs and buttons on here, and you think that you have 4 different groups that you can assign all these to, that's a lot of controls. So if anybody uses Serato Video, you can map one of these banks to set all these knobs and buttons up to turn on and off